Hello and welcome. This is Awesome Will here, and I was sliding by, so I decided that I'd slide on in and drop another video for you. Today's topic, or this evening's topic, or this morning's topic, is nothing comes to a sluggard but his thoughts. The power of personal accountability versus wishful thinking. Let me run that by you again. Nothing comes to a sluggard but his thoughts. The power of personal accountability versus wishful thinking. Now, let's talk about dedication and the origins of dedications, or its origin, in which it came from. Okay? The word dedication is used widely in our modern world, symbolizing commitment, loyalty, and purpose. Whether it's about dedicating a book to someone special or showing dedication to a career, the term has evolved with a rich history and significant cultural impact. But where exactly did the word dedication come from? And what does it truly mean? Let's dive into the etymology and historical roots of dedication, examining its linguistic journey and why it resonates so strongly with us today. Etymology and linguistic roots of dedication. The word dedication stems from the Latin dedicatio, which directly translates to consecration or offering. Dedicatio itself originates from dedicare, similar to Medicare, meaning to proclaim, to set apart, or to consecrate. This Latin term was often used in a religious context to denote the act of offering or consecrating something to a deity. For example, Romans would dedicate temples, monuments, or even themselves to their gods, believing it showed honor, reverence, and loyalty. Through these practices, the notion of dedication took on a deeply spiritual and purposeful meaning. Over time, this concept of setting something apart or devotion or devoting, it to a higher purpose expanded beyond religious context. By the time the word reached Old French as dedication, it retained its sense of consecration and devotion. It wasn't until Middle English adopted the word in the 14th century that it began to assume broader, more secular meanings. As dedication found its way into everyday English, it grew to signify not only religious offerings, but also any kind of heartfelt commitment or personal investment. Okay? Now, do you have dedication? If you don't have it for anyone else, do you at least have dedication to self? Because, truth be told, if you don't make a commitment to self first, there's no way possible for you to be devoted or dedicated to anything else outside of yourself, because you're not doing the work within or externally. And nothing comes to a sluggard but his thoughts. Not to say that you can't make the necessary moves to put it together. It can sometimes be a time consuming process, right? Which is a great thing, because you should want to enjoy the journey while building, while creating, while further exceeding not only someone else's expectation, but your very own. And it's exceptional. Kind of like the jigsaw puzzle. If you never put the pieces where they belong, that's all it'll be, is a jigsaw puzzle. Until you properly place each individual piece together where they belong. And then you will then have the correct imagery of what it was that you were putting together. Now, just another small example. Many of us coming up around the holidays or even Sunday dinner, grandma, auntie, mama, while she's baking that cake, she say, boy, you better not slam that door. Y'all better stop. Y'all better get somewhere and sit down. Y'all better stop slamming them doors. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna make my cake fall. If my cake fall, I'm gonna get on your behind. How many of us has heard that before coming up as children? You better get somewhere and be seated. Now, mama, granny, or auntie, their specialty, most of them were baking the tasty treats for many of them, right? Now, say for instance, if that cake were to collapse, does it mean that that cake still isn't good? No, absolutely not. If that cake were to fall and mama, granny, or auntie, they take that cake or remove that cake from the oven, are you still going to have some? I know I certainly am. The only thing that was affected was the appearance, the overall appearance of that cake that they baked, or that tasty treat that they prepared for the family, or even for themselves, or even for the neighbor. But it's more presentable when it takes its proper form. Not saying that the ingredients aren't the same, not saying that it doesn't taste good anymore. It's just the appropriate presentation, because that's the nature of a cake, or what that specific cake or tasty treat should look like when it's being presented. So, don't be so downhearted. Don't be so pressed about what isn't happening. It's happening, but you have to actively be working in the process of waiting for the results. Because nothing comes to a sluggard but his thoughts. And you have to be accountable and take action. There's days that you feel tired. Okay, you feel tired one day, but 7 days a week. Change your sleep schedule. Get more exercise. Do more cardio. Because when you do things such as cardio, it gives you the necessary energy that you would need to successfully fulfill your responsibility throughout the week, or even that day when you would normally be tired. There's been a regeneration of energy because you do cardio so many days a week or per week. So you're built to last. Change your sleep schedule. Wake up earlier. Stop drinking and partying all night. Celebrating failure, that's pretty much what we're doing. We're celebrating failure. What have you built? What have you changed in your community? Have you even changed within? What are you doing to put yourself in a better financial situation? What are you doing so that you would have more flexibility so that you could perform the tasks of a parent, even if you and the mother have parted and gone separate ways? What efforts are you utilizing to even get custody of your child if the mother of your parent isn't doing the right thing? Or the mother of your child isn't doing the right thing? What are you doing to become a better father, a better parent? And all of this celebrating failures, and you're stagnant in the same place, you know? And then feel that it's everyone else's fault that you don't have what it is you desire. Everything that you need is within you, but until you realize that, it'll never happen for you. And it's no one else's fault for your failure or the things or the responsibility that you fail to step up and take full accountability for. So you become envious of what someone else is doing. You become a taker, wanting to take from someone that worked extremely hard, putting forth or utilizing most of their years or most of their time building a vision, something that they are most passionate about. Taking up a trade, going to school, staying up late at night, sometimes many days consecutively for something to work, not having the help that they need. Taking on a job, if necessary, something that they would never do. Making the necessary sacrifices to get to that point that they truly desire to be in life. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have the experience, but get some experience. Because one thing about it, the world constantly spins on its axis and it stops for no one. Whatever you have to do, I suggest that you do it and do it soon. Because nothing comes to a sluggard. Now I'm going to drop another gem on you. Now, this is going to be a historical moment. I'm going to take you back to the Old Testament, right? Not to be religious or anything like that. You know what I mean? And I mean absolutely no disrespect or no harm or foul to anyone. But this is something that I felt was needed. This was a better way for me to make my presentation and to make it understood. I have to say this for it to be understood. Not that you always have to say something for it to be understood. But this particular occasion, I'm going to express what needs to be said coming from the Old Testament. Now dig this. In the Old Testament of the Bible, the sluggard is a recurring figure, especially in the book of Proverbs. The term sluggard refers to a person who is habitually lazy, avoiding work, responsibility, and a disciplined lifestyle associated with wisdom. The portrayal of the sluggard is often harsh but serves as a valuable cautionary tale. Through vivid and often humorous imagery, the Bible warns against the dangers of laziness and encourages diligence and responsibility as virtues that lead to success and fulfillment. The sluggard first appears in Proverbs, where he is described as someone who refuses to exert the necessary effort to achieve anything worthwhile. Proverbs 6:6 through 6:6 and 11, or 6 through 11. One of the most famous passages on the topic advises, go to the ant Dig this now. One of the smallest insects on the planet Earth, using an insect as an example. Now, dig this. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. The ant, small but industrious. It is a model of self motivation and preparation. In contrast, the sluggard fails to act, even when action is essential, often neglecting personal needs and responsibilities. The comparison to the ant emphasizes how even the smallest of creatures can accomplish great things through hard work and foresight, whereas the sluggard accomplishes little due to apathy. Further insights into the sluggard's character appear in Proverbs 26:13 through 16. Here, the sluggard makes excuses to avoid work, claiming there is a lion in the road, a fierce lion roaming the streets. This exaggerated fear underscores the sluggard's tendency to rationalize inactivity. Excuses, excuses. That's all they have. Excuses, excuses. Inactivity and avoidance. Rather than admitting laziness, the sluggard creates elaborate justifications for not working, demonstrating a refusal to confront responsibilities directly. This avoidance leads to a cycle of inactivity that keeps the sluggard in a state of poverty and need. In Proverbs 24:30 through 34, the Bible describes the home or the house of the vineyard of a sluggard as overgrown with thorns and nettles, symbolic of neglect. The ruin of the sluggard's poverty highlights the cumulative effects of laziness. What begins as a small decision to delay or avoid work grows into a lifestyle marked by disorder and decay. The passage warns that the sluggard will eventually face consequences for neglecting his duties, underscoring that laziness ultimately brings about one's downfall. Come on now. Come on now. Come on. Is it not the truth? Or are you just not willing to embrace it? Now, let's continue. The sluggard's story serves as a warning for those who might be tempted to avoid hard work and responsibility. Throughout the Old Testament, diligence and initiative are repeatedly praised, as it should be, while laziness is condemned as a path to ruin. In a broader sense, the story of the sluggard applies to modern life by encouraging productivity, goal setting, and proactive habits. A lifestyle marked by sloth and procrastination can limit growth, health, as I mentioned earlier, and relationships. The Proverbs warns that it can even destroy a person's potential. The Bible's portrayal of the sluggard is not simply a rebuke, but an invitation to a better way of living. By rejecting laziness, one can embrace virtues like discipline, resilience, and productivity, qualities that benefit not only the individual, but also society as a whole. In Proverbs, this path of diligence is not only a practical approach to life, but also a spiritual calling, as living purposefully honors God and fulfills one's role in his creation. Ultimately, the story of the sluggard offers a timeless lesson. Hard work, discipline, and responsibility build lives that are fruitful and meaningful, while laziness leads only to stagnation, as I mentioned also, and regret. Through the lessons of the sluggard, the Bible calls its readers to the diligent and purposeful, knowing that the rewards of such a life far outweigh the temporary comfort of idleness. Come on. Come on now. So, with that being said, what I'd like you to do is drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this topic. You know what I mean? Let me know what you think about this topic. Feel more than welcome and more than free than to give your input. I would definitely like to hear from you. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to also turn on that notification bell so you will be informed every time that I produce and release a video or upload a video for you. It'll be greatly appreciated. Be sure to also share whenever you get the time and availability. I mean, it costs absolutely nothing to do these things. You know what I mean? And like I said, thanks for tuning in. And just as I was sliding by, I decided that I'd slide on in and drop another video on you. I'm about to now slide on out and proceed about. Thanks for joining Awesome Will. I'll catch you on the next one. Until next time, peace.